start the new sentence. Now, in Spain, it's very rude not to interrupt other people when they speak, right? Because if you don't interrupt them, they think that you don't listen to them. So let me ask you, which protocol do you prefer? Do you prefer that we Polish style online conversation or Spanish style online conversation?
Spanish.
Spanish. Other voices?
Spanish. Definitely Spanish.
Spanish. Hello, Alvaro.
Spanish.
Can you hear me, Daria?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm Giovanni.
Yes, hello,
Oh,
Giovanni.
Yes. Okay.
Italian or Spanish or Polish style on conversation?
That's the same for me. Well, I agree with what has been said. So.
Okay, so if you agree with what has been said and you all prefer the Spanish style of conversation, let's practice it. So let's say immediately trying to jump into one other, where are you based and what country this is, right? So I can start and then we just flow. I am Daria in Warsaw, Poland. And now say your name, the city and the country. Go ahead.
I'm Kimberly from London, UK.
I'm Mary, and I'm in London, UK as well.
Okay, sorry, Mary, follow. Woman first, at least.
Thank you.
My name is Magdalena, and I'm based in Barcelona.
Hello, Emil Lezak, based in Madrid, Spain.
I'm Giovanni Colombo. I am in Torino, Italy.
I am Virginia. Okay. I am Virginia in Montevideo, Uruguay.
I am Klaus. I'm based in Munich in Bavaria.
I'm Sasha. I'm based in Sofia, Bulgaria.
I am Xavier, based in Barcelona.
I'm Alexander, based in Barcelona too.
Hello, this is Fabio, based in Italy, Bologna. I see a lot of friends.
Hi, Fabio. Good to see you.
Hello, anyone wants to introduce? It's the last
Hello.
chance.
Okay, hello. I'm from Poland, Łódź.
Hello, I'm Yves from Geneva, Switzerland.
Hello, I'm Sebastian from Antwerp, Belgium.
Hello, I'm Erica I'm based in Brussels. I will disconnect my video so I hear better, but I'll put it back again when I speak.
Hello, I'm Marta. I'm from Barcelona.
Here is Marcello from Torino, but currently in Berlin.
Hello, I am at that moment, I am Teresa, and I am at that moment in Barcelona.
Oh, hi, Teresa.
Hello, I see a lot of friends.
Yeah.
I am another Xavier from Barcelona. Hello.
Hey, I'm Celine, Brussels, also Belgium. We have three.
Super.
I don't know if...
The last 2 seconds to introduce yourself.
My name is Paul. Hello, my name is Paul. I'm from Badalona, just outside of Barcelona.
And Katrina from Barcelona.
Fantastic.
And Maria from Barcelona. Hi all.
Fantastic. I see people logging in, but if you allow me, I will move to the second moment of our presentation. Introducing ourselves when networking is very critical, because when you have a lot of people introducing, it's very hard to remember people's names. And honestly, it's good to say something that distinguishes you from others. And if I did not know you, and I do know many of you and your dear friends and colleagues, I would say, what were unique that people said about themselves? And I heard Uruguay. There was only one person from Uruguay, and there was only one person from Badalona. And I would encourage you, since this is the introduction to network thinking, that the next time you introduce yourself, try also to say something special. I also heard Bavaria, not Germany. So little things that stick with us when we build connections. But let me very warmly welcome you to this introduction to network thinking. The purpose of this webinar is to share the progress where with my team we have been taking the ambition to translate research into useful products and services. And I will be sharing with you what we've learned on the way. And let's go step by step. So first I'll explain what is network thinking. Then I'll talk a little bit about how network thinking can help you manage a transition. And I will be speaking about a personal transition in a career, but also a transitioning to virtual teamwork when it comes to organizations. I will explain how we assess the network IQ, which is a proxy for network intelligence, and how we have been experimenting, seeing if you can really develop individual network intelligence and then collective network intelligence. So as an inspiration, let me say that, let me start with a story, with a personal story. And my apologies, those of you who have already taken the micro coaching course, Network Thinking for LinkedIn, you know this story, but it's a real authentic story. I was in a career transition, changing my profession and trying to get back to work after having my second baby. I was 30 years old, and I believed that where I was then was not where I wanted to be, and I decided to take an MBA, Master of Business Administration course. And you know, students organize many different things, and one of the initiatives that we organized was to welcome to Warsaw a team of executive MBA students from Leonard Stern Business School in New York. And imagine that just before the students were to arrive, the professor who was organizing the meeting asked me to take care of Dean's wife. Instead of going with students to visit all those high growth companies just in the beginning of the economic transformation in Poland, which was fascinating for us, I was asked to take care of a lady. And of course, being well brought up as I was, I said, fine, I'll do it, no problem. Now, when we met with Brooke Mahoney, I could not imagine that this will be a moment that will turn around my life. Brooke was very bold, was American, and in the first sentence, she told me, I have cancer. And I looked straight into her eyes and I said boldly, so what? She challenged me and I challenged her. And we spent 3 days walking around Warsaw and trying to learn from each other. She was very special. She was the first woman to graduate from Harvard Business School back in 1967. Today, many young people take for granted that women were allowed to study in the top prestigious business schools, but this was not always the case. So Brooke was the first graduate and was one of the first women on the Wall Street. But at the end of her trip, she said, thank you, Daria. I learned so much from you. And I could not understand her until the moment when I became the mentor myself. So the 2 lessons of network thinking that I would like to take with you to start with is that number 1, we never know if totally by chance, the fortune, destiny, or simply some luck will put us in front of a person who may turn around our life. Let's never underestimate that every single individual can change your life. So let's respect every single person you meet online or in life. And the second thing I would like you to take away from this network thinking story is that never underestimate or never doubt that you can share something with every other person if only this person is open and willing to share. So believe me that whatever transformation are you with, this transformation will happen because you meet someone and someone meets you, and it turns out that you are the right person and that this person is the right for you. This was one big transformation in my personal life, and I share here some videos that I gave to speak about how this transformation being bottom-up learned in the emerging markets and then taking me up to the most advanced economies and for a global career can start with just a single person meeting by chance. Now, I want you to take a pen, I hope you have a pen with you, and do just one thing. I will give you just 20 seconds, but take a pen, a piece of paper, and write down the name of one person who in some way unexpectedly transformed your life. I have my watch stop with me, and there will be a number of interactions so that it's not only me speak to you, but you speak to yourself, and then we will have a Q&A session. Take a pen, Giovanni, take a pen and write down, I cannot see you all, but I can see Giovanni. So Giovanni, write down the person who has changed your life.
Well, should I also declare with the third person?
You can declare, and if you want to share a quick story, you're very welcome to do it. Just 1 minute.
Well, I think that one person who has changed my life significantly is one of my first colleagues when I was working as a researcher in the research center in Torino, dealing with the ICT problems, etc. Due to its the transparency and its absolute tension to discover in some way the truth. The truth is a bigger word, but it was like that. It was quite a concrete person, transparent, and very in charge of doing the right things on its job.
Perfect.
On his job.
Thank you. I hope everyone put down a name of the person. Take it down. We will be coming back to this person during this webinar. But anyway, what a person can give you if this magic moment happens is that this person can help you grow, can help you develop from whichever stage you are to the next level. Also, this person can build your skills you may need in the future, and finally can help you innovate life, career, your project, your organization. So if from this first moment, when I discovered the power of networking, the power of networks, there was something behind where I was trying to build the macro and the micro level together. I was trying to understand what takes a transformation to happen. And you have a beautiful visual on the left of the screen, which basically tells a whole story about my research. It's a visual taken during the Smart City Expo World Congress in Barcelona. And basically I explain that people who are able to use network thinking, they have a very specific model of growth beyond the crisis. And in this model, they actually do not need big resources, very unique competences or specific knowledge. They just need a little bit of everything. But what they can do, they can understand that the power of transformation, of transition, comes from the networks and being able to engage the networks in innovation. So whenever you are in the value chain or in those global webs, whether you live in the small city or in a big city like Barcelona or in a small city like Badalona, you can surely create your own networks digitally and face-to-face so that these people who you know, whom you met, can help you transform and connect to the global flows of knowledge, funding, and skills. You can surely reinvent your future if you're able to orchestrate those networks. So the three keywords I would like you to take forward is understand innovation and networks, then create the networks you need, and then orchestrate the projects within the networks. So when we speak about network thinking, and the term itself has been used more than 30 years ago in different sciences, actually in biotech and in ICT, but we think that it also has been used in the management sciences, and we like this term. So we use it for developing a methodology, how to grow and how to thrive in digital economy, society, and those open innovation partnerships. So we worked on the concept of network intelligence as the capacity to build, to lead virtual teams and build trust-based communities, and finally influence the entire ecosystem, these global ecosystems that traditionally we would never think we can be part of or we can really influence. And we were trying to understand how to measure, because if you measure something, you can surely experiment how to grow it. So we developed a network IQ assessments that show individual leadership profiles and skill strengths when working in virtual organizations. And we also show team assessments to show leadership balance in those virtual teams and see how we can help teams develop faster. Now, keep in mind that whatever we do, we have a purpose in mind. The methodology that we developed is beyond the short-term profit making and the short-term indicators. We think midterm, 2 to 3 years, maybe one generation, but it's always about building networks, innovating with a purpose in mind. Now, you surely know the term emotional intelligence. And you know well that emotional intelligence, unlike the intellectual capacity to read, write, analyze, is based on ability to understand your own emotions and being able to manage them, and then understand the emotions in your environment and also being able to manage them. So we built on this body of research, adding another dimension. First, technology. Today, we need to understand that with all the algorithms, the social networks are really thinking for us. It's not that we're independent in the way we're shaping our own process of thinking or who we meet and how we relate. It's all being steered from behind by an invisible hand of artificial intelligence and deep learning systems. But also the dimension that we add is about social networks, communities, and all these multiple identities that we function today being members or leaders in whatever organizations we are. So we take this concept one level further. And you know, when I was teaching in the business school, I loved those simple managerial grids that my students could understand and that we could really very simply and quickly grasp a concept. So if I were to explain the concept of what are high network intelligence leaders able to thrive in this digital world, I would say, well, they surely can build strong ties with their team, even if they work totally digitally. And I would also say that at the same time, they are able to build those weak ties with diverse stakeholders in their ecosystem for what their needs are today and for the future. So a very simple matrix, the network intelligence is ability to build those ties, the networks, in the strongest sense with the most trusted collaborators with your team. Then when the trust diminishes with your community, and then when trust is really, really low with all those digital ecosystems, including such networks as LinkedIn or Twitter. But anyway, if you're able to build those two types of connections, we think that you have a potential to grow. So, well, network emotional intelligence is based on set of skills. Intellectual is based on ability to read, write, express yourself. And network intelligence is also based on a number of skills. And here you can say that these are 7 skills that we took under consideration. So what are these skills? Number 1 is network strategy. It's an understanding that we are all interconnected, and COVID has shown so perfectly well that whatever glass barrier, whatever defense mechanism you build in, you are connected. There are no borders if only there is physical mobility and there is a digital mobility. So you need to understand what are the right networks to fit your purpose and how to build the networks that are conducive to helping you achieve what success means for you. Then number 2 is networking. Some people say that, hey, I'm an introvert, I don't really like go out and networking. But the way we think about networking is really not only about going out there and giving the business cards. It's connected with ability to engage with people you know, but more importantly, with ability to empower these people to meet other people so that they can extend their networks. Because the more you help others build their networks, your ecosystem expands exponentially. Now, we also think that one of the important elements of the network intelligence is ability to leverage digital and face-to-face communication. Sometimes you can hear people saying, hey, I'm really good when I meet with people. I just see this body language. I know what they mean. I can really influence them. Now, we can assume that for the next months, if not years, the pattern of working and human interaction will dramatically change and will stay changed. This workplace disruption will not go away for many reasons. So ability to do the same with digital communication, what those of you who are good in face-to-face is a skill to learn. Then finally, the collaboration for diversity is all about being able to break silos and build trust with people who are not like you or get trusted in a communities where you are an alien. And ultimately, it's influence. You can think, yeah, those Instagram or Facebook influencers, it's not for me. But yes and no, power has always been about influence. And when we say leadership, we really mean a power, a structure. And today, your ability to communicate and collaborate with the people you want gives you potentially a tremendous tool to build your network intelligence. So a question to you, if you take the 7 skills, which do you think you are the strongest, one skill that you are the strongest and one skill that you are the weakest? And again, take a pen and put it down. You have the 7 skills here, and which is your strength and which you think is an opportunity for improvement. Anyone wants to share?
Daria, if I could say for me that the strongest, if I could be honest, is networking.
Okay.
So this is part of my work because I'm dealing with European project proposals and to move between different entities, different persons, and networking is the part of the work.
Mm-hmm. So if you look at those columns, you will see the self-assessment on the research, the outcome of the research that we've done last year on how confident people are, what is their skill level. And in the second column, you see building networks. So it's basically networking. And over almost 80% of people who are our respondents said, yes, I'm good at networking. Now, who can share what is the skill that you feel that you have the biggest opportunity for improvement?
For me, it would be digital communication, which I've been working with you on, and it's actually exciting now to see how that develops, but I think that's the biggest opportunity, especially with where we are right now.
Thanks, Kimberly. When you look at the columns here on the 4th, right in the middle, leveraging online with direct communication, this is actually the lowest confidence level people have. So communication, however strange it may sound, it's very challenging to do it digitally instead of face-to-face. So Kimberly, I know that you're making a wonderful progress, and I'm keeping it's wonderful to help you with this, and you can see that you're really, sorry, not very unique. It's a general skill for improvement. Now, you can say, okay, I know separate skills, but really the ability, the leadership is not a single skill. It's ability to use those skills together. And this is why we were playing with using data and interviews and surveys, how to combine those skills into an indicator that would say, hey, this is a high network IQ leader. And the way we did it, we have an algorithm behind our database, and this will evolve further. But for this moment, we understood that there are 4 leadership profiles. And on the right of my screen, you can see the round rainbow circle where it says strategist, networker, orchestrator, and influencer. And these 4 profiles, as well as the index, are based on the 7 skills. Now, let me present you with 2 case studies. We've done dozens of assessments so far. So I have selected 2 because I believe that they may be insightful for you. So again, the whole network IQ is about ability to build trust-based relations with your team, and at the same time build a lot of weak ties with the entire ecosystem. And here, in the post-corona times, we have a lot of very senior leaders, and I have seen them in many countries that we've worked with, in Spain, in the Netherlands, in the UK, where people say, especially very senior executives say, hey, I'm really good networker, I deliver business results, my team trusts me, but I really do not like to do this networking digitally now. I do not feel comfortable, I do not feel confident, and my board and the colleagues start to doubt if I can really lead the company through this post-corona times. People inside trust me, but I do not have the digital brand, the identity out there on the market. I'm not known, basically. And when we look at the network IQ assessment of Juan, we discovered that basically he is a basic network thinker. So his score is 67, and then his leadership profile was rather of a, not really of an influencer. So the biggest gaps also showed in network strategy and digital communication. So he could not really understand which are the right communities out there in the ecosystem and how to communicate with the right people in these communities to influence the ecosystem, this digital ecosystem that his company is with, so that people inside his organization see him the same as the outside market sees that he's a digital leader for the new age, for the post-corona time. Now, we also had quite many examples working with middle-level managers who were very, very successful when they were saying, hey, I'm very skillful when it comes to business development, but somehow I cannot do for myself what I do for others. I feel stuck in my career. And it may also resonate with you, and here you can see a case of Elizabeth, who's a business development manager, and you will instantaneously challenge me, hey, so this is about men and women, right? So a question to you, do you think that network intelligence has a gender? Hey, tell me.
Women are better than men about that.
No, a clear no.
Women listen.
No.
So listen, our data shows that there is no difference between that the gender is not a differentiating factor between the network intelligence of men and women. But what is quite striking is the ability to use this networking skills, the strategic networking skills, the network IQ, to really advance in the career. And this translates also in the self-confidence. So there is a correlation between how confident women are about their skills and how they really are measured. And then there is also a different correlation showing that women are, sorry guys, much more dedicated to learning and self-development. So quite often I hear very old type executives saying, hey, in my notebook, I have a phone to anyone I need. I just pick up the phone and call. And I believe that there is some truth, but this is as if you were saying that the industrial age will last forever. It is not true. The power structure will be changing, and ability to build the ties not only with the existing power structure in your ecosystem or with the influential people in your organization, but ability to help others advance, build trust in the ecosystem with the broad networks. Building your brand as a digital leader will be transformational for many organizations and for many careers. Now, let me quickly tap upon those 4 leadership styles, and you will see that people who are highly focused on the team tend to have the engagement, empowerment as a strong skill. Then those who are focused on both, that is, both on the team and the ecosystem, combine the networking with the strategist profile. You surely know the Pareto rule, do you? Pareto rule says that 20% of your effort will bring 80% of success. And the same with your network. At our career stage, or even today as a very young professional, you have a lot of connection. And if you don't, it's pretty easy to build those connections. Now, really the challenge is, which is, using the Pareto rule, the 20% of your network that you should focus your efforts on to develop trust, to engage, to communicate, to try to collaborate. So we have the networker and the strategist, and then the influencer is really the person who can combine the ability surely to execute power. And it is not a secret that you're powerful if you're connected to other powerful people. And today, power can be, of course, coming from being able to connect to the traditional power networks, but at the same time, you know, a single post or tweet can change the entire future of a company or of a country. So every single person connected out there can be an influencer. Even if you're a micro or a nano influencer, this can be one single element that can create a network effect and get your influence out there. So an influencer is the person who can collaborate with diverse people, not only feeling well in its own crowd, and then who can connect with the existing traditional power networks, but at the same time be able to mobilize the crowds out there in the social media. So if I were to give recommendations, what are these digital leaders good on? I would say that basically, if you look at the pink brain, this is the brain of an orchestrator, you should not underestimate the power of people who are just very good orchestrators. Yeah, it's not really like a project manager, because it's a person who's able to function beyond the organizational limits and beyond the functional connections. It's a person who is able to see the success beyond her or his own project, and who's able to combine different people and make all this chaos of the projects out there sound as a strategy and lead to growth. So basically, this person can use technology and social media tools to strengthen its innovation capacity, and definitely use the digital communication regularly to become much more trustworthy, transparent, and simply known to people, both within the organization and in the broader ecosystem. The person who is a networker should develop skills for the creation of strategic networks, especially virtually. It's not about having more connections, it's about having more of the right connections. And then it's about learn by doing, how to work with diverse stakeholders. It's really bringing the diversity to the networks. The people who are the influencers basically should try to create stronger connections with networks, with influencers in their regional ecosystem. You may also connect those virtual team and digital ecosystem with the dimension of being tightly knit locally, so being very rooted in the physical location you come from, and then being loosely coupled with those vast, diverse people. I like to say that it's as if you were telling your child that to thrive, you need to have roots and wings. So it's about creating those local connections as well. It's about engagement with stakeholders to diffuse innovation I truly believe that those who can help scale up innovation, this is where the tipping point is. This is where the network effect can start. And then finally, it's all about connecting with those weird birds like startup entrepreneurs, someone who takes an unusual career path. Because if you're able, being a mature leader or being a leader in a transition, connect and learn from people who take an unconventional career path, there is something you can learn from, as I learned from Brooke. And ultimately, the digital leader who is the strategist is really all about doing things, building the human relations, building the connections based on the purpose network fit. Those of you who work with us know that you need a different network for every purpose. So number one, you need to be very clear strategically what you're trying to achieve. And I love the framework of Simon Sinek, who says, start with why. And absolutely, it's important to understand what are the values and why you're dedicating your effort. But the way we think about a purpose, it's also that it's not only your purpose for your success, but with the network thinking philosophy, it's about the success of your community. Because if you're a lonely rider, you can go only as far. If you can bring your community with you, all the community will be helping you, will be a nurturing ecosystem for you to thrive. So always a strategist has a network and then is able to tap on this network with a purpose network fit strategy. Now, when we work mainly with the CEOs, with country managers and research and innovation directors, we see certain patterns repeat. So we see that the key challenge that they face today in the COVID, it's number one, growth. How to strengthen partnerships and how to build a digital brand and a strong digital innovation culture. The second most asked challenge is about how to improve the performance of virtual teams. You surely know and you surely experience this, that we seem to be working 24 hours, 7 days per week. But actually, this could be done differently if we were skillful network thinkers, high network IQ leaders who can build trust and those weak and strong ties. And then ultimately is how to partner with different people, with different organizations to make a positive impact together. I see more and more that especially the young people, and honestly, I was surprised by how many people I witnessed quit their jobs under COVID with all the uncertainty upcoming. They said, no, this is the opportunity for me where I can test a new approach. I can take a break. I can go back to school. I can focus on my family, but because this is where I see that we can bring a positive impact together. So whatever you do, whether you're responsible for innovation in your organization, or if you want to innovate life, take the break, step back and think, what is the right purpose? And then what is the right network that you should spend more time with? Now, who are those digital leaders? I was referring so many times to those digital leaders. And last year we did research to understand why people build those relations, why people build networks. And I must say that I'm really fascinated every time I look at the results. So what you see here is based on the two questions. Number one question was, we had 17 variables, 17 different goals, why people go out there and connect with other people. And first they were to say, do you use networking to achieve this goal? And then we asked, if you do, how effective are you? And you will see three circles here. So you will not be surprised that almost everyone who uses networking does it with a purpose, with a goal, sorry. A purpose is something much different than a goal. A goal is something very measurable, specific, time-bound. You know those, what is this SMART framework to set up goals? A purpose, it's much more difficult to set out because you need to understand the area you want to impact. First, you need to understand who you are, because today we function in so many different identities. And for every different identity, we want to impact a different area. And for this, we need different relations to help us thrive. So with a simple goal, to network, people sell things, but only 45% say that they are successful, that they are effective. It means that this transactional culture, this absolutely frantic conference tour, it's actually pretty hard to translate into business results. Now, what you see also is that very few people use networking to share digital resources, physical resources, or human resources. This survey was done in October last year, and we could not imagine that only a couple of months later, we will all be sharing our resources, sharing our physical office with our family, sharing the digital media with everyone out there, using different collaboration platforms. So we not only see here that very few people know how to use networking to share, but also they declare that they are not very effective. So a few people do it, and those who do it do not feel comfortable that they are sufficiently effective. And then up there you have the last circle. It's about those who use networking to monitor business changes and disrupt. So these are really people who are able to learn from the networks, who are able to understand what are the trends, who are able to tap on those uncommon partnerships to disrupt whatever patterns there are. And you will see that although there's only around 17–18% of people who use networking for these two goals, they declare almost 80% that they are highly, highly effective. So I believe that the network intelligence is connected with the ability to use the networks not only for the big long-term strategic purpose, but also for a very short-term goal. So this is just another slide to say that digital leaders not only are successful, are effective in using networks with a specific purpose in mind towards a specific goal, but also they're connected to the right networks. And you will see here that based on our survey, some businesses have really not connections at all with other areas, with universities, with government institutions, with research, or with startups. So if you're thinking about a transition as a business leader, or if you're thinking a transition as a professional, you need to connect with diverse networks, not only stay with your own circle of influence, because you never know where this disruptive person who will stand on your journey will come from. So I encourage you to be strategic about what networks you're reaching out there. And I will be shortly coming to the end. Just wanted to walk you quickly through the projects that we've done recently, not about the assessing the network IQ of individual leaders, but the team network IQ, because absolutely there's a synergy that the higher network IQ people are, the most successful you will be socializing with them, learning from them. So it's important to place yourself in such a nurturing environment. What you see here is my favorite slide, is our toy store. So we've been playing with very different solutions, and these solutions evolve together as our users, as our clients tell us what their needs are, what else they need to learn. But you know, it's all about basically understanding and then playing to learn. We are all about learning by doing. And using Twitter and LinkedIn are our two favorite playgrounds to grow the network IQ. And I want to take this opportunity because many of our clients are here with us. Thank you so much. We would never, as a science-based startup, arrive to the point where we can proudly say our solutions are useful, our solutions are relevant, our solutions help, our research-based solutions help build digital leadership. So I want to thank you very warmly. And let me show that there's a big variance how people build their individual network IQ during team intervention projects. Look, there's one person in this team who has changed the network IQ by 21%, and there's a couple whose network IQ relatively diminished because the community as a whole outgrown them. And I would say that if I were to say, and the average increase of the network IQ in this specific project was 8.4%. So there was one person who more than doubled the average. And let me just comment, who are the people who decreased in their network IQ power? These were the old-time influencers who basically said, hey, we don't need to learn digital skills. Social media is not for us. I rather not understand why I should empower other people to build their networks. I know everyone I need to know. Now, the person who increased by 21% was an interesting profile. She was considered a big networker. She was working in a highly engineering team. Everyone except her was an engineer. She had a business background, and she was really responsible for building the relations in the ecosystem. But she found it extremely hard to influence her colleagues and to develop new projects. Now, during this program, one of the biggest success stories was that working as a virtual team right at the beginning where COVID started, they managed to develop a new purpose network fit that actually translated in a project, in a program that started now, that brings family-owned businesses into this company to innovate together. But the way she did it was really by using the social media and getting the influence out there as if leveraging the communication with their colleagues whom they knew well, with those digital ecosystem and the influencers who suddenly started to talk to their colleagues. We're doing a very neat exercise about mapping the key communities who are needed to succeed, but then also pointing to the right people, and people during our programs connect the dots. So they're really playing a game. I love gamification, and they're collaborating and competing with each other, how to connect, how to exercise an influence on a person that normally would not like to give you access to different kinds of resources or opportunities. So team network IQ develops differently depending on the intention of a person, on a motivation on a person, and how skillful this person is to design the purpose network fit. Let me tell you about two more projects. Here I can give specific names. We worked with the Eindhoven University of Technology, which is TUE for those who don't know the school. Eindhoven is a small city, just 200,000 people. But TU is an innovation powerhouse in an ecosystem of over 10,000 tech companies in the Brainport region in the Netherlands. Very early where the COVID started, they wanted to grow and transform and disrupt their ecosystem. So when we worked with their teams, we basically had an online, purely online team development, team coaching program where people suddenly had to grow up to their role as digital leaders. They did not have this experience before. They worked, as we all did, face-to-face, and suddenly through the program, they managed to get some more confidence. But first of all, what has happened is that they became more networked. They learned how to break silos. 70% started to trust more each other and learned how to break silos. We worked a lot about their digital brand because in those digital ecosystems, every single person, as I said, is a digital leader because every single person has the ability to influence not only the team, but also the entire ecosystem. And let me share about another project from Eindhoven. I am a deep admirer of this ecosystem. And Eindhoven Engine is a venture which invests in deep tech projects with high impact and commercialization potential. Now, their challenge was really how to define the network strategy, who they should engage with, what are the right communities, and what are the key people to find good projects to invest in, and then find good teams to take those opportunities into reality. Now, they believe that the LinkedIn is important for them as their biggest professional platform. And we were super proud when we achieved through a little game between the team members that they doubled the reach of the company brand. And they really, every single person became much more aligned about what they're trying to achieve. What does disrupt the ecosystem means, how the money should bring the biggest return on investment and at the same time, the biggest impact for the society. Now, let me skip this slide and say that if you would like to contact us to learn more, Evelina, who is with me here, who is my very dear colleague and who cares very much about the well-being of everyone. She's a good spirit here in our team, and you can reach out to learn more about getting connected. I would love to have a chat with every single of you. So if there is any inspiration that you find, I am happy to have a chat in the coming days or weeks. Now let me stop sharing my screen and come, give the voice to you if you want to ask questions, maybe comment on the leadership challenges that you're facing as individuals managing your career or as team leaders. I'll be very happy to have a discussion, a conversation. I can see some people speak, but I think you're muted.
Yes, I'm Giovanni.
Hello.
Just a question. Don't you think that this attitude, the attitude you were speaking about now, are very strictly depending on the, let's say, environment in which the team is acting, and mostly on what are the objectives of the team? I think that the actual, let's say, challenges that we are facing, that we all are facing, not only COVID, but also the environmental challenges or social challenges, really do require new type of entrepreneurship capabilities. And it is not the same thing to face social issues or a global competitiveness aspects dealing with the front technologies and things like that. So aren't they depending on this kind of things, or these tools and these attitudes that you suggest are generic with respect to the environment and the objectives?
Giovanni, thank you for this question. Every purpose is broader than your own short-term future of yourself or your team or your organization. And the climate, with this beautiful vision that we had on the climate neutral continent for Europe 2050, that is so much disrupted the vision now with COVID, with the changing of resources. The only thing we can do to keep the sustainability agenda is to become more effective, more higher performing as teams who so far were developing and scaling and deploying new solutions, but also more influential as leaders. And we are actually preparing a program, Leader and Influencer in Sustainability. We have my colleague Marcello here with us, who's responsible for this program. Marcello himself is very passionate as a millennial about the climate and climate related issues. And I think that there is so much more we can do if only we could be able to sell, if I may use this word, ideas better within our own organizations. I have heard so many times R&D directors, vice presidents say, this project was killed at the very last moment. The chairman did not approve it. My colleagues finally, ultimately did not support me enough. So the project was killed. And I believe that this is one issue that when we say leader and influencer, it's not only about having a big network link on LinkedIn. It's about the ability to bring those people to listen to you and to be able to reach out to the right people and connect the dots in the ecosystem. And for this, it's really a skill set. You won't be surprised by the testimonials and the data we have, how people both from middle-level management positions, from early career researchers to very senior managers, how more effective they feel when they get those skills. And ultimately, skills are just skills. You need to have a mindset to learn and then practice them. So sustainability, definitely. We need to be more performing as a team and then more influential to get access to the resources. Absolutely, we need different leaders to bring the sustainability forward.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question, any other comment?
Yes, Daria, if I may add something to your comments to Giovanni, I think is this attitude as a networking in general is independent of the environment when you work. As an example, I could tell you when I started using social media and applying networking by social media, it was discarded by my colleagues, by my team. But in the moment when I gain one project in general, not saying the name, I was asked by my boss how I achieved this. So I reply by networking. because by networking I reach the right person. I start to exchange the information. I call him. After that, we meet on some events, and he invites me to this. So it depends on us. It depends on how we want to achieve our goals or purposes. Sorry, I cannot distinguish this one.
Yeah, if I can add, it is true that people who will be able to communicate skillfully and who will be able to communicate and advocate the ambition of their company, their own ambition as a leader, their values, they will be building more trust, foremost within their close colleagues. So people quite often think that they use social media for others, for those unknown crowds that make you feel good if you get 80 or 120 likes on LinkedIn. But actually, we are using social media because we want our team to trust us. We want our colleagues to know what we're up to, what we believe, what is on our agenda. And it's an amazing team transformation when suddenly a team starts to communicate in a public space, supporting each other. It's fascinating actually to see this team transformation taking place in all those digital circumstances. Any other questions or comments?
Yes, yes, please. I was just wondering if you also complement these individual assessments by doing some sort of social network analysis within organizations to not only see how they score on an individual level, but also how these individuals really actually are positioned within the network in an organization.
Was it Sebastian?
Yes, that's correct.
Sebastian, I cannot see you. No, we do not do social network analysis. I believe that there are many very good companies, and I know some that we can recommend that can show you and analyze what is the structure of your network. Our angle, our unique specialty is about leadership. It's about ability to use the networks with a purpose in mind. And sometimes it doesn't matter how big is the network or to how many influencers you're connected, because they may be totally irrelevant for what is your purpose.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess we're coming to the end. I want to very warmly thank you all for coming. And Evelina, great thanks, and Marcello for helping organizing this webinar and for giving us an ability to share what we're up to, what we're doing, how we're progressing. And I hope that if you're to take only one inspiration, go to social media or just to your phone book and connect with the person who you marked down as the person who changed your life. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Daria.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye
Thank you
bye.
all for being
Ciao.
here with us.
Bye, ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.